is the New World Order with Trump as president, di ba?
Yeah. That's it, brother. Kaya nga sabi ko, New World Order, pero masaya ngayon si Senator Trillanes. Kasi yung beshi niya is Marco Rubio. Yeah, I think people don't know
Oh,
about it. There's a backstory there. Alam mo naman ba, during the time of Digong, si Senator Trillanes had to do a lot of backdoor diplomacy dahil medyo alanganin yung situation niya. I mean, he was even threatened during that time. So one of the persons that he always reached out to was Senator Marco Rubio of Florida. At in fact, kung titignan nyo, si Senator Marco Rubio has a very strong record of pushing for resolutions in favor of not only stronger bilateral alliance, pero pati kay Senator De Lima. You can find the resolution filed by the U.S. Senate calling for the freedom of Senator De Lima back in the day. So this is a years-long friendship and relationship. And as we know, it looks like Florida, Miami boys are going to run top positions from Defense Secretary Waltz and Secretary of State naman si Marco Rubio. So, yung mga DDS na akala nyo, maliligtas si Duterte kay Trump. Yari kayo ngayon kasi puro mga China hakang nandyan at saka kaibigan pa ni Senator Trillanes. Kung yun ang world order natin, kaibigan natin, no, 'di ba? Kamusta bro? So, how did you absorb? Paano mo na-absorb yung resulta?
so sa akin kasi I was always a little bit more indifferent towards the
Yeah.
results of the election. I think you know that. And because marami ako nakikitang mga polisiya na nagustuhan ko kay Trump. Marami din ako nakita mga polisiya na nagustuhan ko kay Kamala Harris. So sa akin, walang talo dito. And unfortunately nga, of course, if you're a little bit more left-leaning, matatakot ka, madidisappoint ka. Pero if you're more right-leaning, right of center, mas magugustuhan mo yung mga polisiya ni Trump. At alam mo, kahit na somebody asked me this if I want Trump to win or if I want Kamala Harris to win, kahit yung mga kamag-anak ko, alam mo, I was going both ways. And like we were talking about the last time, I really think kasi this is a different Trump. Now, I could be wrong. He could be just as vindictive and just as egomaniac. I mean, egomaniac. I think he was always an egomaniac. But that's not. But that's beside the point. Now he has a team. That's what I like is he has a team. He has people behind him that are strong-willed, strong-minded, and I think he will listen to them. And I think he does listen to them. Kaya nga, for example, ginawa ni Trump yung pagtanggap ng Bitcoin, my favorite topic, is because marami nagsasalita sa kanya na, huy, kailangan mo itong i-adapt. It's a good technology. At kahit hindi niya naintindihan, at alam ko hindi niya naintindihan, in-adapt niya itong polisiya na to dahil nga marami nagsasabi na okay to. So, doon ko nakikita that Trump is more open-minded compared to the last version of Trump. So this is Trump 2.0. And I think that uh, naramdaman niya yung pulso ng bayang Amerika. Dahil nakita niya na marami sigurong tao doon ngayon ay pagod na sa problema ng mga illegal immigration. Marami mga tao doon din ay nahihirapan na dahil sa problema ng inflation. Mataas ang bilihin sa US at maraming tao na hindi na makapagbayad ng renta, nahihirapan na talaga at naramdaman niya yon. At kaya nakapag-resonate siya doon sa mga taong yon. Kaya yun ang rason kung bakit siya nanalo. What's your take?
Well, unang-una, hindi pa nabuo yung kanyang kabinete, no? Pero base sa nakikita natin, una-una yung grupo na tinatawag na Florida Boys, no? So si Walz, sa Defense Secretary, si Rubio, ito yung mga known China hawks at very conservative sila. I won't say, hindi ko sasabihin na new conservative ala George Bush na usugurin natin ibang bansa, palitan natin yung sistema nila. But hindi ito mga doves, no? Hindi ito mga tao na kumbaga mabait, no? Or in-emphasize nila yung multilateralism. So talagang dapat maging realistic tayo na pagdating dun sa mga top officials ni Donald Trump, ito yung mga medyo matapang nakausap, no? So hindi tayo dapat magtataka kung behind the scenes sasabihin nila sa Pilipinas, oh, eto na, China na yung kalaban na, wag na kayo magpadalos-dalos. Tapos dun sa mga ibang ASEAN countries na nag-hedge, nagpe-fence sitter, o pumili na kayo at pumila na kayo, di ba? Kung ano yung mangyari. So, yun yung realistic. And then andun din yung tinatawag ng South Africa boys. No? So sa Teal, although Rhodesia, Namibia, pero may South African background yan, si Elon Musk obviously at saka si Sachs, a little bit less known, pero tatlo sila. Ito naman ang mga, well, tipo mo yan mga libertarian, anti-regulation, deregulation, Bitcoin, lahat mga bagay na yan. So ibang flavor na naman yan. And then the JD Vance naman, ito yung mga medyo isolationist, ayaw nila sa free trade, ibalik yung mga industriya, so more cultural MAGA, strong family values. So sa loob mismo ng kabinete niya, forget about yung MAGA movement, marami po yung mga tendencies. Pangalawa, yung dapat titignan natin dito is hindi lang naman si Trump ang nanalo eh. Republicans yung nanalo sa Senado, malaki yung agwat.
Mm.
Sa akin palagay, isang dahilan na pinili na lang si Marco Rubio is dahil kahit mawalan sila ng isang senador, malakas pa rin sila. Kasi kung if ever close yung fight sa Senado, hindi ka pwede pumili ng isang senador kasi mawawalan ka ng ano eh,
Yep.
baraha eh, 'di ba? So ibig sabihin kampante sila sa Senado, tapos sa Kongreso mukhang almost sure na rin na mananalo mga Republicans. And then isama mo pa yung Supreme Court kung saan tatlo diyan ina-appoint ni Trump. So ito yung pinaka-conservative na Supreme Court including pinaka-Catholic na Supreme Court. I think 5 or 6 members ito ay conservative Catholic. So more conservative pa kay Pope Francis type. So pag nilagay mo lahat ng mga elements dyan, tapos great as ever, comeback, and marami pa rin mga kaso laban kay Trump. May mga standing cases pa. As we speak, yung Department of Justice ay
Yep.
nagre-retrench na sila kasi magkikick in na yung immunity ni Trump dahil sa Supreme Court ruling. So honestly, hindi ko masabi kung maging mas mabait siya eh. Para sa akin, ang tanong dito is anong version lalabas? Kasi kung all the way Trump ang mangyari, so kanina tinitignan ko yung analysis. Sabi ni J.D. Vance, yung isang estimate nila, annually pwede sila mag-deport ng 1 million illegal migrants. At paano nila gagawin yan? Mukhang uunahin pa nila. Ito yung logistics. So kanina pinapakinggan ko yung mga logistics. So, yung isang logistics yan is uunahin nila yung mga illegal immigrants na galing sa mga bansa na willing mag-readmit ng mga taong to. So clearly, hindi ito Venezuela. Because kung umalis ka sa Venezuela, traidor ka
Yep.
essentially. Hindi ito Brazil. Brazil only allows 1 or 2 repatriation flights every month. So yung mga unahin nila yung Honduras,
Pilipinas.
Nicaragua, Central Haiti, yung mga ganito. So, dapat hindi tayo magtataka na magkakaroon ng mass deportation. One estimate put it at out to 200,000 in the first 100 days. So, Trump, hindi ako magtataka na this time mas seryoso sila. And one person hindi natin pinag-usapan is si Stephen Miller na napaka-hardline na tong tao na to sa issue ng immigration. Kung hindi kayo naniwala sa akin, panoorin nyo siya. At isa ito sa mga tao na nag-promote yung tinatawag na Project 2025. So ito yung
Mm.
proyekto ng
Okay.
Trump administration na talagang baguhin yung Amerika, no? Yung
Wow.
paano Amerika baguhin yung kanyang pwesto sa mundo. So to be honest, hindi ako kampante sa idea na maging more mild to. If anything, sa akin palagay, ito ay siguro simula ng bagong new chapter sa US dahil si Trump ay magte-transition leader na siya because after 4 years, he cannot run again. So si J.D. Vance talaga is waiting in the wings. So hindi ako magtataka. Actually, big things may happen in the next 3, 4 years. Now, kung masaya ka doon, including baka libo-libong mga Pilipino na TNT ay mapapal,
Right.
okay sa'yo yan. Good for you. Kung okay sa'yo na medyo ma-pressure tayo na maging clearly anti-China na tayo at sumali tayo sa Amerika, well, good for you. At pagdating naman sa issue ng inflation, mahina talaga yung strategy ni Kamala because sa tingin ko masyado niya na overemphasize yung cultural issue and abortion issue because yung abortion
Yes.
issue actually ay na settle siya at the level of the state. On the ballot was the issue of abortion and in 7 out of 10 states nanalo actually yung pro-abortion rights at the level of state constitution. So actually si Kamala Harris napaka nag-underperform, napaka nag-underemphasize ng issue ng economy and immigration at
Mhm.
talaga siya nakagat. Dapat nga for instance, yung issue ng inflation. Lahat ng mundo nagkaroon ng inflation over the past 2 years dahil sa war sa
Right.
Ukraine, etc. In fact, yung inflation in US by 2, 3, 4%. Hindi ko sinasabi okay yan. Ang sinasabi ko, unfair naman, i-blame mo lang si Biden sa lahat yan. Hindi ko sinasabi na hindi incompetent si Biden. Hindi ko sinasabi na ganun-ganun. Pero sa akin palagay, may kahinaan talaga sa kampanya yung team ni Kamala Harris. Masyadong elitist yung kanilang very elitist, very suburban, liberal, elite
Yep.
yung kanilang positioning, very cultural, hindi masyado binigyan ng attention ng mga issue na yan. So kaya kanina pinapakinggan ko pa yung mga in-interview na Puerto Ricans. Nasabi na kahit na inis sila kay Kill Tony, dun sa mga joke niya na basura daw ang Puerto Rico, okay pa rin sila kasi sa tingin nila, Trump at the end of the day ay mas aligned sa kanilang values at sa tingin nila baka Trump dahil businessman things will be better. So what I'm saying is, may mga vibes diyan, pero ang dapat talaga
Yep.
titignan mo yung momentum, yung kabinete, yung ideology at saka yung mga magiging influential na tao si Stephen Miller, J.D. Vance,
Yep.
Elon Musk, Marco Rubio. Walang mild sa kanila eh. None of these
Yeah.
guys are mild, my friend. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing eh. That's what I've been saying eh. Malalakas sa mga personalidad ng mga to eh. The people around him are very opinionated, very strong opinions. And they don't all will get along. And I'm telling you, the different factions in the Trump cabinet, in the Trump presidency will clash with each other. And that's a good thing. That will keep everyone in check. Not everyone will agree with everything, and that's a good thing. Now, yung nabanggit mo nga dito, alam mo, one of the key things that I think that made Trump win is not just Trump himself. It's because nga he was talking policies. He was talking issues. And that's why pag tinignan mo nga, maraming Republicans nanalo ngayon. Kasi nga, it's Republicans generally all agreed ito ang issue na ihaharap natin. And tama ka talaga doon. Ang problema nung kay Kamala Harris is hindi niya binanggit yung paano niya aayusin yung problema ng inflation. At yun ang palaging pinag-uusapan sa US ngayon eh. Yung $34 trillion debt that keeps ticking. They're doing like what, 8 billion a day in interest payments. Umaakit yung, meron silang, di ba meron sila yung debt timer. Nakita mo talagang pumapatak yung pataas ang pataas yung utang nila. And now, Trump has Elon Musk saying that, I don't know if it's true or not, na magiging parang efficiency czar si Elon Musk doon. And he has a goal. He wants the debt to be cut na. Ayaw na niya tumaas pa yan, which is a good thing because nga, we are now at the point, we're at the precipice of kung hindi ng US ayusin yung problema nila ng national debt nila at nila maayos yung inflation issue nila, they will lose their position as the global reserve currency. And na-erode na nga yun slowly. So pag matuloy yun, wala na. Then the US as a superpower, they will lose their status as the global reserve currency. Mag-iiba na talaga yan. So kaya importante yung
Pero bro,
gagawin ni Trump dito.
ang problema kasi sa, I mean, again, agree ako na hindi pwede abusuin yung US dollar dahil yun ang global currency. Ang problema kasi dyan is, panahon ni Trump, dahil sa tax cuts niya nung first time, actually umakyat yung kanilang utang. Kasi, paano ka nagbabayad ng utang? Dun sa buwis. So kung nagbigay ka ng malalaking tax cut sa mga billionaires, saan ka kuha ng buwis? Doon sa mga mahihirap na tao? Hindi klaro sa akin yung mathematics doon eh. At
Yep.
kung tuloy pa rin yung deregulation at saka tax breaks nila sa mga billionaires, kaya tuwan-tuwa yung mga ibang billionaires in
Yes.
Silicon Valley, to be honest, nasaan yung mathematics doon? So I'm not very sure about the mathematics of that. But yung vibes, siguro yung vibes gusto nila. Speak of Elon Musk, I won't be surprised ng solution lang niya to fire half of the people in the bureaucracy. Right? Tinatawag nila na deep state. Now, sino i-replace nila? Mga MAGA loyalists, mga version nila ng DDS, hindi ko alam. Kung ma-fire ba nila, or hindi ko alam. At saka, natakot ako ng konti kasi ngayon kahit sino mag-oppose kay tatawagin sa'yo deep state. Parang sa Pilipinas,
Right.
basta mag-no ka sa Duterte, dilawan ka na. Alam mo yung gano'n, yung
Right.
oligarch ka na. So, delikado yung mga ganin na positioning. Pero at the end of the day, mali din talaga ng Democrats. Matagal na namin sinasabi na talagang dapat i-explain mo bakit ganito yung... At saka sabi ko nga, pinakamalaking problema ni Kamala, nagmarohas siya eh. Dapat talaga pag
Yes.
tumatakbo ka, wag mo i-depensa yung incumbent kung alam mo naman napaka anti-incumbency yung mood. Obvious naman, napaka unpopular ni Biden. Whether it's you agree or not, unpopular siya. So sasabihin mo sa The View na there's not a single thing that comes to my mind that I would regret or change. Sobrang mali po yan. You could have said Biden, he did this great, he's a patriot, etc. Pero sisiguraduhin ko na ma-improve natin ito, na I'll have
Right.
another four. Wala, she didn't even try. So, hindi ko alam ano pa talagang nangyari sa loob ng kampanya na hintayin ko yung mga analysis ng what went wrong inside the Democratic campaign strategy. Something is really off there. Sobrang off
Well,
talaga.
well, I have to add, Richard, that ako lang mismo for me lang, Kamala never came across to me as a very charismatic person. Yun lang. Wala siya masyadong charisma for me. So I have a feeling that also affected it. Could I be wrong with that? I don't know what
Yeah, I mean,
people think.
well, how many primaries did she win?
She didn't because remember she was
Exactly,
literally parang
zero, right? I
appointed
mean,
na nga eh.
so, medyo, ano lang siya eh, she was the
Last minute
accomplishing.
replacement siya eh. Kasi wala na silang choice. It was so late in the game na dala nga point, what are they gonna do? Do the primaries and then
Yun nga,
kulang na ng time.
too late na rin. Oh, pero ito ganito so dalawang argument dito. Yung isa, at ito yung nagiging dominant arguments, kasalanan lahat ni Biden yan, na hindi lang
Ah,
palpakan niya, masyado siyang late, pinilit niya hanggang obvious na hindi pwede. Pero meron na isang argument. Actually, sila Scaramucci, yung mga ibang tao are also putting forward. kung sana pinatakbo ni Obama si Biden noong 2015-16 pa lang, baka iba ng kasaysayan ng mundo ngayon. Dahil wag
Yeah.
natin kalimutan, Biden won 81 million votes. Na alam ko yung mga friends natin in multiverse, cheating yan, etc. Hindi. Natalo talaga si Trump. I mean, etong ridiculous argument. Sasabihin mo na nung si Trump ang presidente, nagdaya ng 6 million votes sa mga... Tapos ngayon na presidente ng Democrats, hindi sila makapagdaya. I mean, ridiculous yan. But anyway, I think Biden would have been a strong candidate back in 2016. And 2020, well, he pulled it through. So, I don't know. Siguro, kasalanan ni Obama yan. Para sa akin, mas kasalanan pa ni Obama yan. Pinilit niya talaga yung kanyang version ng gusto niya sa Amerika. Pinilit niya si Hillary Clinton, and then eto ngayon naman, protege din niya si Kamala Harris. Kasi ang focus ni Obama parati representation eh. Wala naman akong problema sa representation. Ang issue ko lang is, kung karamihan ng mga Amerikano, mas concern nila yung inflation, immigration, security, mga ganon, mahirapan ka talaga manalo ng sapat na boto eh.
Yeah.
So,
Pero, uh-huh.
I think Obamaism was defeated in these elections more than anything else.
Well, here's a question though, Richard. I mean, if you think about it, who else would they have been able to field this late in the game?
Governor Shapiro, malakas, magaling.
Uh,
I have like three or four the governors in mind that could have done better than her. I mean, who knows? Baka
right.
may matino tayong I mean, Buttigieg, I don't know. I mean, ang point ko is, sigurado tayo na si Kamala was not necessarily the strongest candidate put forward.
No.
For me, my favorite candidate would have been Elizabeth Warren, but she's too lefty for many Americans. But that's my end. She's a woman. This is not about gender. I'd rather have someone like Elizabeth Warren. Hindi naman issue to ng gender eh. Competence ang issue dito eh.
Mm.
Consistency. And I'll ask you this. Do you think na sobrang mali din yung communication strategy ni Kamala Harris? Sounds familiar. Umaasa lang sa mga A-list celebrity, mga Oprah, mga ganon, and then hindi nagpakita dun kay Joe Rogan. Kasi Joe Rogan, I think, was one of the clinchers
Yeah.
of elections.
As a matter of fact, I don't know why. Well, I guess I kind of know why she didn't do the interview. But honestly, kasi sa akin, I've always been the type na if you really are speaking your truth as authentically as you can, pwede kaya mong humarap na kahit kanino. Wala kang tatakutan. Kahit na anong banat sa'yo. Yun eh. Yun, and the fact that she didn't do it. And Joe Rogan gave her that chance. Kaya Joe Rogan, although Joe Rogan, I knew naman na he always liked Trump. Hindi lang niya masabi dati kasi nga tatakot siya baka ma-cancel din. Pero nung nakita niya that the tide was turning and then bam, turn na siya last
Bernie
minute.
bro siya eh. Bernie bro. I think he's an anti-system guy. Gustong-gusto
Yeah,
niya si Bernie
sure.
Sanders. And then si
Sure.
RFK, dito syempre mas anti-system si Trump, 'di ba? So ano siya eh, he's a free-spirited guy. So,
Yeah.
that's how I understand this.
Yeah, and not just that, the fact that RFK nga endorsed Trump na, so sama na siya. Kasi uy, RFK endorsed, Elon Musk endorsed. He likes those guys, he gets along with them. Bam, o sige, join na ako. Yun eh, at the end of the day. And that's where Kamala really lost out. And for me, to begin with nga, from day one, I never thought Kamala was a strong candidate, but I thought that the machinery should be able to pull it through. But then nakikita mo nga that the sentiments were not in her favor because she never addressed the key issues. Inflation was a key issue. Even in the Philippines, that's a major issue right now. Diba? That's one of the most important issues that people want to talk about, itong inflation natin dito sa Pilipinas. So, that is the global problem that needs to be addressed and they just never bothered addressing it. And add to that like with Kamala, no, they were focusing on wow, they were focusing on topics that were not. I don't want to actually. I'm trying to not be controversial with my statement, pero
Kasi hindi central sa pangailangan ng mga ibang Amerikano.
yeah,
I mean, there's a reason why
exactly.
she did so well among Latinos. I mean, I'm talking about Trump, sorry. He did so well among Latinos, among Asian Americans, among Filipino Americans for that matter. Ay dahil dito talaga sa he went back to the basics. Now, I also agree na minsan parang unfair na yung standards na ginagamit dun sa mga Democratic candidates, especially kung babae, hindi same standards kay Trump. Like, you can say everything about Kamala, but honestly, you want to talk about honesty and family values and all. You want to talk about Trump's convicted, but it is what it is. It's anti-incumbency. Anti-incumbency. So, an
Yeah,
anti-incumbency situation, talaga may leeway si Trump na wala si Kamala. So, he became the candidate of change, in short.
yep.
People wanted
And
change, and he was the candidate of change. As simple as that.
Yeah, but then again, remember that magaling din yung pag-messaging ng Trump on the Republican side na parang they blamed the problem of inflation all on Joe Biden. But in reality, the problem of inflation was interpresidential eh. Throughout the entire American history, there was always a problem with inflation since the time of Richard Nixon in the 1970s when the US dollar was taken off the gold standard. Yung pa lang, pag tinignan mo actually yung graph ng inflation as soon as the US was taken off the gold standard, gumanyan ang inflation. Talagang bam, shoots up. So, hindi ko mabiblame si Biden entirely for that. And plus, even when Trump was president, remember, I mean, there were already the signs of the problems happening and then na-inherit pa niya yung COVID, yung pandemic. Pero I thought Biden did very well during the pandemic where that's where Trump lost nung time na yon kasi he did so poorly in his pandemic response. Kaya si Biden na nanalo nung time na yun because, di ba, ang palpak ni Trump. Tapos as soon as Biden won, what did he do? Gave out all dole outs, all this money, load into the system, boom, lalo pa tumaas ang inflation. So
Kaso yung kay
now,
Trump kasi yung mga cheque na binigyan, doon yung pangalan niya eh. Yun din na naalala ng ibang voters eh.
oh
Parang
wow, I
marketing
didn't know that.
style. Oh! Yung,
Oh, I didn't
yung
know that.
lola kong isa nasa Hawaii and all, sabi, ito, check namin from Trump. Kasi talaga nakalagay Donald Trump. Ganun, ganun. $1,000, $2,000 check. So, yun din na naalala na maraming mga... So, but let's not exaggerate this out. Trump won 50% of the votes. 50.4%. It's not like he won 70%, 80%, 90%. Kamala won 48%. So, actually, in terms of popular vote, hindi nagkakalayo. But, obviously, electoral college is what matters at lahat ng
Yes.
battleground states na nalo si Trump. So, galing-galing. Realignment talaga nangyari. Ang dami mga counties from Miami to Texas na
Yep.
lahat ng mga pro-Democrat talaga na-flip ni Trump. So, in fairness to the Trump campaign, I think they did a very good job on that. I want to ask one more thing on this before transition na tayo sa Pilipinas. So, kanina, tinitignan ko yung mga datos, no? So, apparently, Philippines Well, Philippines is the most pro-Trump country on earth if you look at the Pew survey. So he had more than 83, 84% approval rating when in Europe he was like 20, 30%. So ang ka-level
Wow.
lang ng Philippines is Israel and South Korea slightly behind us or almost tied.
Wow.
Pero Philippines is the most pro-Trump. And then, ang daming, kanina may kausap tayo na nag-survey din sila sa Pilipinas at more pro-Trump ang mga Filipino nandito kaysa doon. And then, ang lakas din ng pro-Trump sa mga Filipino-Americans. So I want to ask you, bro, is the Philippines a kind of a Reagan-Trump center-right nation? Because that's always the sense that the Philippines is a more right-wing conservative nation always than a center-left na kaya I'm not surprised na Trump or Reagan or whatever they've been doing well. Ikaw, what is your read of that?
Well, I think the fact that we at one point we voted for Duterte shows you the inclination of Filipinos to be more right of center than left of center in that sense. Pero at the same time, it doesn't necessarily have to be a bad thing because remember that we're a very religious country, right? And a lot of the things that Trump was talking about was very pro religion and the religious values. So yung pa lang, nakukuha na niya yung mga sentimento ng mga Pilipino. Doon pa lang, number one. Number two, yun na nga, yung naintindihan ng mga Pilipino yung plight ng mga Amerikano when it comes to crime, 'di ba? Kaya nga nanalo si Duterte noong time na yon. Ang nagbago lang ngayon is na-realize siguro ng karamihan nga sa atin ay hindi naman kailangan magkaroon nitong selective vigilante style of justice para magkaroon ng peace and order, especially ngayon na nakikita naman natin nga na peace and order can be had without the killings. So, doon nakapag-relate ang mga Pilipino kay Trump in that sense. And siguro, I mean, maybe Filipinos just love a more of a celebrity type
Yeah,
of
I
a
think the
guy.
show, man. Beautiful, beautiful.
Yeah,
Ang
yun
dami
eh.
nag-post yung mga, di ba, Miss Universe? Miss Universe.
Yep.
Nag-post yung mga candidates dati, yung mga... You're right. I think from Reagan to Trump also both were Hollywood celebrities, right? So you're absolutely right. There's a showbiz factor in as much
Yep.
as you're right, Catholic Christian values. Mismo, I completely, 100% agree with you on that. And then, although, ang dami nagalit sa akin when sabi niya, how dare you compare Duterte and Trump? Parang sabi ko, dahil blonde yung isa, tapos yung isa, I mean, I'm saying, like, you cannot be shallow. We're not talking about yung shallow level. You're talking about style of politics. Anti-system
Yes.
sila pareho. Now, tama ka naman. Sana naman wala nang mga kakaibang mangyari sa ilalim ni Trump. kumpara ka naman kay Duterte. Kasi ang dami nagagalit na pro-Trump sa akin. How dare you compare? Kasi ang dami kong kilala na pro-Lenny and pro-Duterte. Ay, pro-Trump.
Yes.
Ang dami nila, bro.
Yes.
Dumami pa sila ngayon. Proud na proud pa sila na Trump sila.
Yeah.
So,
Well, let me add to that kasi Richard, that I think kasi they don't see kasi Trump like the way kasi the DDS view Duterte as a killer nga eh. And they like that about him. Now, when you support Trump and then you say, let's say I support Trump and then you said that, it'll make me feel like, but I don't support Duterte because I don't support that style. I'm just saying that I like how he sounds because of what he wants to do. Yun. And I relate to that. So, nakaka-insulto for you to say that kasi then you're telling me na parang, so that means that I support like yung mga tipong si Duterte and you're matching him with Duterte. But I think they don't understand the nuance of what you're saying. That is the strong man personality. It doesn't mean that he's exactly like Duterte. As a matter of fact, I think that yeah, they're very different in a lot of ways. Pero they have that
yeah, Trump never drinks, never smokes, never drugs, nothing. I don't know about Digong. Wala akong sinasabi, but
But yeah, you're right. So yun lang I think is where the sensitivity comes in. So but generally I've always been the type na kahit sino manalo, I'm always willing to be hopeful na and give the person the benefit of the doubt and the chance to be able to prove whether they can be okay for the country or not. And no matter what, listen, the U.S. democracy is so strong that I don't think Trump will be able to implement as much as he'd want just on his own. Much like in the last term, his last term when he was president, he tried to implement a lot of things, but a lot of things that he wanted were not all getting through din naman because maraming labanan pa rin yan within the government agencies and with the other co-equal branches of government. Even if the only thing is yun na nga, medyo ang dami talagang Republicans ngayon sa legislative branch and even the judicial branch. But um, I'd still like to believe that there are a lot of constitutional safeguards that are in place that are strong enough to be able to hold back from an authoritarian to be able to get rid of the constitution like that.
yeah, I mean, that's why I'm saying na hindi ako masyadong convinced na maging mild siya dahil na yung isa sa mga natutunan niya yung first time niya, ang dami magre-resist sa kanya. Kaya this time, dun sa Schedule F, marami siya i-fire ng mga deep state. But at
Right.
the same time, tama ka rin dahil federal system ang US, lalaban yung mga Democrats at the federal level. Dahil
Yep.
maraming governors na Democrat, Michigan, Pennsylvania, California, lalaban mga yan. I think Gavin Newsom made it clear na he's gonna resist kung sa tingin niya is yung mga gagawin ni Trump ay beyond the pale base sa pag-intindi nila ng saligang batas ng Amerika. So, we are in for some very interesting years. Let's see anong mangyayari dito sa jiu-jitsu back and forth because half of the nation still more or less didn't vote for Trump. He won 50%, 0.4. So parang Brexit yan. Sobrang narrow yung split. And sa akin
Yep.
pala, natalo rin si Kamala dahil daming disappointed din sa kanila na bumoto kay RFK na pumunta kay Trump, bumoto kay Joel Stein na I think 0.6%. So when you put those elements together, it's essentially 50-50. So more like grievance na naman. I think it was a protest vote also in many ways na kaya hindi nanalo si Kamala. But balikan natin ang Pilipinas kasi ang tanong sa akin ngayon is ano bang hindi ba nakikita natin ngayon na yung mga populist pwede talaga mag-comeback? Kahit mukhang laos na sila. I mean, last year at this time, mukhang laos si Trump. Di ba? Ay, wala na yan. Ano yan? Grabe na. Ang daming kaso, ganun, ganun. And then, unti-unti naging inevitable na siya. From done deal to inevitable is quite a huge change in just 1 year.
Mm.
And sa akin palagay, to be honest, I won't be surprised kung mag-survive itong mga Dutertes until 2026. By 2027, they will have what Trump had over the past year. Biglang they'll come back with a vengeance. And tingnan
Oh,
mo Thailand, Thaksin. The father was the prime minister in the 1990s, early 2000s. Then the sister. Now the daughter. Pabalik, pabalik, pabalik.
yeah.
Berlusconi, Italy. Nawala, bumalik, nawala, bumalik. And then nung matanda na, nag-replace yung iba. Sila George Melon. So, ang sinasabi ko dito is, huwag maging complacent na laos yung mga populist na naging malakas. By the way, lest people forget, pag hindi tumakbo si Pinoy, ang nanalo dapat nung 2010 ay si Erap Estrada. Siya yung number 2 in 2010 elections. Naalala mo? Si Erap nag-number 2, pare. So, pwede maging presidente ulit si Erap nung 2010 kung hindi tumakbo si Pinoy. So, even sa ating kasaysayan, meron tayong presidents kung saan isang populist leader na disgraced, convicted plunderer,
Right.
tapos na forgive, pagbalik muntik na nalo ulit. So ako, I'm realistic. I think still the Dutertes are a force to reckon with. Maybe not now and next year, pero pwede bumalik 2026, 2027 unless yayarin na sila in the next year or so on the quad
Right.
count dog issue. And yun ang gusto kong tanongin sa'yo.
Well, okay, here's my take on it. Just tama yung mga points na binanggit mo. That there's always a possibility na makakabalik pa, let's say, yung mga Duterte's back in power. But here is where the difference is. Kaya nakabalik si Trump is not just because of how what he did politically, yung mga maneuvering na ginawa niya at yung mga statements niya. Also, it was the undoing of the Democrats. They also caused this much in the same way that I hate to say this, pero it's true that the rise of Duterte was also because of the undoings of Pinoy when it comes to security. We talked about this in the last in our last podcast na yung problem kasi nga is he nineglect niya yung security issues at marami siyang mga lapses sa security, and that's what gave rise to the Duterte types. Ngayon,
Traffic. Ang daming
uh,
problema.
yeah,
Traffic, infrastructure, ang daming
yung
inayos.
laglag bala, yung gano'n, tanimbala. So there's a lot eh. Pero at the same time, now, with Marcos naman, with what he's doing, so far, tama yung mga ginagawa niyang steps. He's addressing a lot of issues that are very close to Filipinos. And nakikita mo that he's allowing the system to work. And it looks like it's working. Primarily, at least, window dressing niya maganda. It looks like it's working. I'll give you a very good example of, napanood mo ba kanina? Wala ko napanood mo. Yung Malacanang press con na ginawa nila kanina with John Vic Remulla.
Ay, hindi ko napanood para kasi kanina Trump lang. Go ahead. You have the
Okay,
stage, brother. Inform
so
us.
here's the thing about this one that's really interesting. Yung Malacanang press conference na ginawa, first time ko nakita, nagkaroon sila ng press con in a very long time. And ang ganda ng pagkagawa with the lights and sounds, the bells and whistles, the AVPs, and then John Vic Remulla comes out. And John Vic Remulla, for people that don't know, is the new DILG chief, right? At ito na, binanggit niya yung mga nakita niyang problema when it comes to do sa Bilibid prison and napansin nila that the drug lords and drug dealers in Bilibid are still active in the drug trade that's proliferating all over the Philippines. In-address niya yun. The fact that they even addressed it tells you that they're serious about fighting this. Fighting it legally and with force in the right way. So that is a great signal. And John Vic has very big shoes to fill. Kaya ang ganda talaga nung timing niya
Ganda.
nito.
Brother, can